Greetings, I'm Tim of Govberg, and welcome to the world of Hublot. Today, I'll be your guide to the proper usage, care, and maintenance of your Hublot Classic Fusion Chronograph titanium bracelet. Now, it's important to note that this is an automatic winding timepiece. Nevertheless, it can be manually wound should it run down. Simply begin turning the crown in a clockwise position with the crown in the first position flush to the case. Turn 10 to 20 times or until you see the constant seconds dial at 3 o'clock begin to advance. Now at this point you can put the watch on the wrist and the natural course of kinetic energy will move the winding rotor and continue energizing the watch movement. However, should you wish to manually wind the watch to its full rated power reserve of approximately 42 hours, simply continue turning the crown. This has a bridal style mainspring, which means that any excess stress or pressure will automatically be relieved by the slippage of the mainspring within the barrel. So wind until you're satisfied that the watch is fully energized. 40 turns should be sufficient. Now the watch features two refinements that can aid in precise time setting. One is hacking seconds or stop seconds, and the other is a quickset date. Now hacking or stop seconds is engaged by pulling the crown out to its outermost position. This is the third position. Now you'll note that the seconds hand at 3 o'clock has halted and the balance on the reverse of the case has stopped oscillating. At this point you can precisely set the watch to the second. This is most conveniently done by waiting until the seconds hand is aligned with the index at 0 and then waiting for a reference time to catch up, at which point simply pressing the crown back in will resume the beat of the balance and timekeeping. Now the second refinement that can help in precise time setting is the quickset date function. Now the quickset date is engaged by turning the crown out to the second position and rolling it in a counterclockwise motion. You'll note that it cycles the date in the window at 6 o'clock. This is in the second position between flush to the case and the hacked or stop seconds position outermost. Now once you have the date set, push the crown in to restore water resistance. It's also important to note that the date should never be quickset, that is, it should never be used in this cycling function when the watch is between 8 p.m. or 3 a.m., as this is the period during which the automatic date jumper itself is engaged, and attempting to manually advance the date during this period can damage the movement. Now it's also important to note that in the hacked position outermost, where the balance is stopped, the watch can be set by turning the crown in a counterclockwise direction, advancing the hands in a clockwise direction. Now it's also important to note that the watch features a chronograph which is actuated by pressing the engagement trigger to start the chronograph at 2 o'clock, pressing it again to stop the chronograph, and then only once the chronograph has been halted, pressing the reset trigger. The watch must always be actuated in that sequence: start and stop, and then reset. Attempting to reset while the watch has its chronograph running can severely damage the movement. Now there are other hazards to take into consideration, such as magnetism. Magnetism is a prime consideration because the metallic hairspring of a watch, which sits at the center of the balance wheel, is at the heart of the timepiece, and it can be magnetized by refrigerator doors, magnetic closures on wallets and purses, high-powered speakers and subwoofers, wiring looms in the home or office, and of course MRI equipment. If you suspect, due to erratic timekeeping, that your watch has become magnetized, take it to an authorized Hublot dealer where specialized equipment is available to quickly and easily demagnetize the watch. Now, of course, water resistance is also an important consideration, principally because the water resistance of your watch is the single greatest guard against the single greatest hazard. Now, water that is introduced to the interior of the case can rapidly cause both cosmetic and mechanical damage to a high degree. Therefore, it's important to always keep the crown flush against the case when the watch is going to be submerged. This watch is 5 ATM or 50 meters water resistant, which is sufficient for surface activity. Now, again, you shouldn't actuate the pushers when the watch is underwater or when it has water on the case. Forego using any of the functions of the pushers in the crown, as any of those actions can lead to the bypass of the seals and the introduction of water to the movement. Moreover, it's important to note that water resistance is not a static feature of a watch, and over time, as seals age and lubricants dry, water resistance can ebb. Therefore, Hublot recommends water testing with an authorized dealer at least once every 2 years. Now, This will ensure that the watch is always secure up to its rated water resistance of 5 ATM. It's also a good time to take into account the potential need for service. Hublot recommends a full overhaul of the watch, a mechanical and cosmetic, as well as timing and regulation service every 3 to 5 years. It's best to have the performance of your watch tested during its biannual water resistance test, as this will ensure that the cosmetic condition of your watch, the isochronism, and the water resistance are all tested at once by an authorized service center. It's also important to service exclusively with authorized service centers, as these agencies alone, whether independent authorized retailers of Hublot or factory stores, have the trained personnel, specialized equipment, and original factory replacement parts to maintain the integrity of your watch both as an instrument and as an investment. Moreover, only these agencies are empowered to grant a factory service warranty on any work or parts invested in the overhaul. To learn more about the proper care and usage of your Hublot Classic Fusion titanium bracelet chronograph, visit our website govbergwatches.com and text, email, or call our experts who will be happy to lead you through every step of the ownership experience.